Good evening and welcome to Thinking Re-envisioned. You're just seconds away from the unmatchable Henry G. Noel. Believe me, this is the tune-up your cognition has been waiting on. Here's Henry.
Good evening and welcome to Transitional Radio, home of Brian Brody's Mortal Up and All Natural Being, Sneak Speaks, and this, our 18th episode of Thinking Re-envisioned. My name is Henry G. Noel, and I am your host. Thinking Re-envisioned. We're here to make you think. We're here to make you question. Question everything. I wish to thank you for joining me this Tuesday evening for a full hour of Thinking Re-envisioned. Where we will be talking about, well, this life of ours. You know, this life of debt, fast food, fake foods and preservatives, pharmaceuticals and vaccines, stressful jobs and government and religious lies. Well, aren't we just loving all of this? So, you know, all of this is classified as normal. So what I want to cover tonight, what is normal? What do we accept? Why do we accept this as normal? And when do we stop? We're broadcasting live this evening from our uplink studio in beautiful Cuenca, Ecuador, 2 degrees south of the equator. Now, we are broadcasting live on IPMNation.com and Thinking Re-envisioned's Facebook and YouTube pages. I wish to thank you all the listeners from all over the globe for tuning in on live radio, those listening to our rebroadcast, and you, our fly on the wall video listeners. It's great to have you listening in. I'd also like to thank our good friends at Wirecast for making it possible for us to be broadcasting live and globally. Without them and my brother, we'd be up, I think. So to all our listeners who wish to participate in this show, email me at henry@henrygnoel.com. It is my wish to begin a show where everyone can be as actively involved as they want. We trust you've had an enjoyable Tuesday thus far, and I hope that continues. So let's get into the thread, and let's see what's on everybody's mind this Tuesday evening. So welcome. So obviously I'm online, so my brother is on. So it's Matt Connaughton. Great to see you there. Thank you so much for everything you're doing, and I love the new show. That's going to be great. Mary, thank you for joining us. John, always great to see you there. Thank you so much. And Candace, peace, you too. It's great to see you. Alice, thank you for joining us. And let's see, what do we got here? So what's up with Brian? Brian's a bit under the weather today. Get me off. So that's what's going on right now. He's just a little bit under the weather, so he'll be fine. And then let's see, my brother's on, and then Alice. Hey, again, it's great to see you. Hello, everybody. And so yes, I wanted to go ahead and cover some of the stuff that's been going on. We deal with what is normal, trying to decide what normal is in society nowadays. You know, we live in a debt-driven society. We call that normal. We've lived in it for so long. Now it's normal. And to me, there's nothing normal about a debt-driven society. And we, you know, between the fast foods, junk foods, the fake foods, the preservatives that are in foods, we wonder why we're not as healthy as we should be. We take, pharmaceuticals and vaccines, and we wonder why we have problems. And the steady increase of all of the things that are going on and the conditions that all the children are on, the ADD, ADHD, and of course, you know, everybody says there's no links. Well, I follow the numbers on when things happen. We work stressful jobs that we don't like because we need the money, rather than common sense saying do the things that you really love to do, and you'd probably be a lot less stressful. And then, of course, accepting whatever the government or religious leaders tell us. You know, that is certainly not normal. So that's part of what I really want to cover, and really, you know, again, get your input. I mean, that's what I do this for, because I wouldn't have to go out over the airwaves and embarrass myself. So this is normal is overrated. You know, normal is overrated. Candace says the audio is messed up. Hopefully that's not the case, but my brother's checking into it right now as we speak to see how things are. We did have an issue with it a little bit earlier, but I don't know if it's microphone position or if it's just me. I don't know. Well, we'll find out. Wayne will let us know. I'll have to turn the volume up a little bit to hear him. So we'll just go at it. But yeah, normal. If you had the choice to decide what was normal, what would you want as normal? Would it be the debt? Would it be the credit cards? Would it be the constantly having to get new cars? Would it be the college educations that we have to pay for? What would be normal? I mean, obviously, not having any of that would be great. I mean, that would be terrific if it was all free. But that's not the case. But the fact is that we do have a choice as to whether or not we live in a debt society and accept that or not, because we don't have to do that. We can do what we can to save and do the things that we need to do. It's hard. I just want people to really think about what it is we do and how we live our lives, because it is stressful. Working for the dollar is going, and like I said, I fall back on my parents when they grew up, when I was growing up, and they had the little coffee cans up on the shelf, and they put their monies in each one of them, save up for the things that they needed. And to me, it's that is what is normal for me. A little garbled again. Must have a bad taco dinner. That could possibly be, Mary. Thank you. Cooperation, compassion, and love. Thank you, John. Yes, I believe that is the case. We need to go. If we can have respect for each other, we can do the things that we need to do. We really should be living. Yeah, that's what we should be doing. But we do and can change the environment within which we live simply by making mistakes. We can't blame everybody for the situations that it's in, because we are involved in that situation and perpetuating that situation. So it's what we can do to change it. I was doing a lot of writing again this morning, and one of the things I was come up with was how we pass this on to our children. My parents passed on being conservative and being save your dollars and save your pennies and put them in, allocate them the way they're supposed to. Doable pretty damn fast. And the stress that they have to do. They carry this piece of paper around with them that doesn't mount to a hill of beans, except that they actually went through a university and listened to some professors talk. And then there you go. So let's see what Mary has to say here. Wayne, okay, yeah, thank you. I'm hopefully we can. What I find is what the culture is doing, the way wind is blowing. That with that definition, I want to be thinking person and go with the and not go with the herd. That kind of a person. I want to test everything, and there you go, Mary. I absolutely agree with you, except with one difference. I don't think that that's what normal is. I think, yes, society has defined what normal is, but that's not what normal is for me. Normal is what I want to do, which is outside of all of that. So to me, I look at society and I call that abnormal because it's no common sense. There's no common sense to having a debt-driven society. You can just look at our government and with $220 trillion debt hanging out there over the course of retirements and pay. That's insanity. If the US dollar ever stopped being the world currency, I don't think the government is ever going to pay that debt off because they can't print the money to do it. And then we, as citizens of the US, we're stiffed with that bill. So to me, paying $500,000 each to get the government out of debt, I'm sorry, that's not normal. That is abnormal to me. So what I define as normal is what I want to do, how I want to live, non-debt, chicken pox and all of those, and have a natural lifetime immunity than having a vaccine that is only good for a short period of time and then I have to get more boosters. I'm sorry, I'd rather get it and take the risk of getting it naturally. And so to me, it makes none of this is sense, and this is totally abnormal as far as I'm concerned. And so I'm kind of curious as to where we're going to go with this and how far out of the not natural realm we are ever going. So I'm still waiting to see if the video is writing this one. So I'm gonna. Oh, there we go. Hopefully we are back up again. And so I don't think that this what we see in society right now. To me, this is not normal. This is what I call abnormal, and I believe it is up to us to make the decision to not follow that herd, to not be socially normal, socially acceptable, and to go against the grain, because I don't think that that's the way it is. The more that we do that, the more we teach our children to do that, and all of a sudden we have generations coming up that don't fall for student loans, that don't fall for mortgages, that don't fall for buying brand new cars on time, or buying used cars even on time, or paying for our commodities through credit cards and then paying them off across months, or jumping into Christmas and putting thousands of dollars on credit cards just so we can pay it off by May. This is what we have to stop doing. We have to stop thinking like everybody else and start changing the way we do things, because to me, that's what's really important. We'll never change anything if we don't do that. And the problem is we never change ourselves. And I think that that's really where I think is far more important than anything else. Going to try to catch up here. Let's see. Nope, still got some stuff. Define no. Yep, I'm still garbled, probably. Hopefully it's working. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I can't do anything from this end. I apologize for that. So quality is going down. It could be simply internet connection. It could be simply the Wi-Fi. It could be weather anywhere between Ecuador and Michigan. So if there's anything going on with the weather in these two areas in the world, then we might have some technical issues here. So we'll see what happens. My brother, he'll probably send me. Probably should just click on him in case he sends me a new link, and I will just to make sure that I'm not deal with it. Okay, so nope, that's the same link as before. So we will get us up. But anyway, thank you for sticking with me. I really do appreciate it. Here we have an hour show. We're 15 minutes into it, and I haven't seen anybody. So this is really kind of frustrating for me. But we do have the control as how we want to define our lives, how we want to see normal, how we want to have people perceive normal from us. And we do have that control. And we can take that control back from the government. and not fall for all the garbage. We can take that control back from the corporations and not fall for that. We can take that control back from the religious institutions and not fall for that. We can do this. It's just we have to want to do it, and we have to understand, so long as we contribute to this way of life is going to continue. And we have to simply step away from the herd. We have to turn and go in a different direction, and then teach the herd that there's a better way, a different way to actually deal with all of this. And that's what I would love it if, again, with your opinions, and for those listening on out there in the radio. This is not just for me. I don't do this to just enjoy the heck out of listening to myself, because I don't like listening to myself. But this is for you guys too. And regardless of the language, hopefully there's translations that you can do. But regardless of where you are in the world, this fits you too. You have the choice. You have the option. You have the capability to self-modify, self-govern yourself. And you don't have to conform and fit in. We are not trying to change the world in a violent, vicious type of way. We're trying to make changes in ourselves, and with the world being a reflection of us, then we can change the world in that manner. And I know there's a lot of people, a lot of corporations, a lot of agencies out there don't want to see the change. They like us suffering. They like us being held down. They like having the control over us because they know how we're going to react. They know that they can do something that will fire us up and make us just totally angry, and we unify for the wrong reason. And that is the manipulation that seems to be done quite well with governments and with religious institutions especially. And we need to change that. It's time we stood up. It's time that we do what we're supposed to do and take control of our lives. And by taking control, we eliminate the control that they have over us. And we then are the ones we're the ones controlling this. It's not even civil disobedience. It is simply logical to me to say, hey, we don't have to do this. This is not the way we have to live. That we can actually be in control. I'm going to sit down and see if we are back here. Spelled it, of course, but just want to see if everybody is still there, is still back. Hopefully you are. It would be great. Just sign back on if you can, and we'll keep going with this. Hopefully it will go. But it looks like it's a major. I'm not sure where my brother is because that screen is dark now, and hopefully he'll tune it back up again and get us fired up. But let's see how we're doing. It's slow coming back up again. We have to probably refresh this one more. But anyway, so again, if you're out there in the radio land, listening to the rebroadcast, I'm not saying be dissident. I'm not saying be violent. I'm not saying go in and advertise the fact you want to overthrow a government. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that change your life, overthrow your own life, overthrow the way that we have been living our lives. Stop accepting what everybody and society calls the norm. We don't have to do that. We can change all of that by simply changing us and not accepting this. We'll see how it goes. Some of the stuff is still coming back up. Good. My brother's been busy putting posts up there. So anyway, please do that. I don't know where exactly when everything changed. I mean, we can probably do the research and find back specific years that things changed. I just know that growing up in the 50s, things were different. Things were a bit simpler. They weren't easier by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, because it was very hard. My dad worked 2 or 3 jobs and brought home every dime that he had. And my mom separated it all out, made sure she covered rent, made sure she covered food, made sure she covered clothes, made sure she covered the down payment for the house to pay the house or to buy a car. She was the one that governed all that. And I remember doing that. I remember sitting with them and talking about the budget and the finances, so that I would learn how not to grow up as society switched and changed itself to a totally debt-driven society. And so I totally have gone the way that my parents had really wanted us to do. Again, and I talk about how learning from learnings that we've had, all the learnings that we have done, that we need to unlearn a lot of this stuff, most of this stuff, and re-look at the way we see things, because we are so entrenched in this debt. And for the young people out there listening in, you, the millennials, you guys have the chance to really make a change where we haven't done that in this generation. And I think that it would be a smart move to do that. Just don't go into debt. I mean, it's ridiculous to have that hanging over your head just because you learned it from your parents. We don't need to do that. It's mindless and it's hurtish, and we don't have to be that way. You don't have to be that way. The hopes for the future of this world are in your hands, because you are our future leaders. You are our future presidents. You are our future Congress people. You are our future legislatures all over the world. You are future corporate owners and running our businesses all over. You are our future religious leaders. So learn from what we're doing wrong and change it. Don't just accept it as norm, because it isn't. It's abnormal. And you have the opportunity to really step in and do things that are away from the way that everyone has done this. Our fears, our hatreds, our discrimination, our guilt, all of this stuff that we deal with, our judgment, all stem from our upbringing. And we grew up with the prejudices, and we grew up with the name calling. We grew up with all of this. And it doesn't need to happen. We can stop all of this. You guys can stop it all. The young youth can really take control of this all back again. To me, that's what we really need to see. So I would really appreciate it. Like I said, my email is henry@henrygnowell.com. And please write to me. Let me know what you think. And ask questions. I mean, that's the only way we're going to be able to share information, if you ask questions. And I have a ton of questions for you guys, because I really want to understand how you see the state of the world that you're being given, that you are now going to be responsible for paying all of this debt off, that it's going to be hanging on your head, because we're not going to be around long enough to worry about it. But you all will. And I think it's very important that you accept and understand the fact that you are, and not accept it. Sit down and start complaining about it, because it's going absolutely rampant, and it's not stopping at all. It's continuing to go, and you have the authority, you have the control. And this is not a Republican, this is not a liberal, this is not a Tory, this is not a People's Party. This has nothing to do with political party. This is called common sense. We cannot continue to live in debt, because the moment somebody pulls the plug on the US dollar, the US is in trouble, because there is a tremendous debt out there. And right now, the government can print all the money it wants. It has that ability to do that, because it is the world currency. But the minute that changes, it doesn't have that ability anymore. And the US dollar is no longer printable, except based on the reserves it has. And with all of that funds that are out there, it's worthless. And the inflation will go through the roof if that ever happens. Of course, there's a lot of fighting going on to try to keep the dollar as the currency. But remember, it's a world currency. So that means the world is involved in whether or not the dollar stays. And it has already overstayed any other currency as its world currency. Not because of its stability, but because no one has taken it back. No one has said, oh, we don't want this anymore. The moment countries stop accepting US dollars, the minute corporations stop accepting US dollars, as soon as trade stops accepting US dollars, as soon as you stop accepting US dollars as payment for your labor, it starts to change. And that is the part that we have to really pay attention to, because that's where it's going to go. How are you? Hi, Alice. I'm glad that you're still there. Thank you so much. Hopefully, you're still there. We'll see what happens. I don't know if I have it live or not. I don't really know what it is. I'm checking again to see. I don't have anything new from my brother, so I don't really know what is going on. But anyway, so yes, please take control. We're 26 minutes into the show. We've been down as far as technically for most of that, and but I know it's still broadcasting over the radio, so I'm going to keep going with it, and hopefully everybody will catch up. And I do sorry about that. And if the sound is not that crisp and clear over the radio, I apologize for that, because there's obviously some major technical stuff going on, and I have no idea where it is. So we'll see if this gets any better. Anyway, so let's get back to where we were. Accepting what we have. We this whole topic and conversation is predicated on is the way we have deemed normalcy. As Wade had mentioned, it is based on society. If society says this is the norm, then we follow suit. But we don't have to accept that. We live in a debt-driven society. We eat fast food, and we eat foods that are loaded with preservatives. We eat fake food, stuff that's not even food, and we're told it's okay for us. We take pharmaceuticals ad nauseum. Vaccines are going into infants when they're born. We work jobs that are so stressful that we can't even imagine what it's like to relax anymore. And then we follow and believe everything the government or religion comes to major. I'm waiting to see what happens with this too. I'd love to get some input into this. Since we don't have the thread, then we'll just deal with it as we can. But being out there in the world, all over the world, and thank God that the show is actually being carried up and picked up in a lot of countries, 40 some odd countries right now. And I know you all have opinions, regardless of whether you live in India or Pakistan, or whether you live in Israel or in Palestine, or you live in Iran or Iraq or Afghanistan, or you live in Oman or in Saudi Arabia or Syria or Jordan, or you live in Nigeria or Kenya or South Africa, or here in South America, in any of the countries, Colombia, Peru, Venezuela, Argentina, all over the United States, whether you're in Asia, in Malaysia, Cambodia, Vietnam, you have an opinion. You have an opinion. And that is what I want to hear. I want to hear the opinion. I want to know what you think. I want to know what direction you'd like to see things go, and what you feel you can do about that. So please, it's henry@henrygnoel.com. I'm more than happy to answer questions. Just don't hesitate. I want you part of this show. I want to get the feedback, and that is the direction I would love to see things happen. So please don't hesitate. So we are halfway through the hour, and I still don't see anything technologically changing. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to go at this rather than try to take a break, because my brother couldn't even fill in to do a 2-minute break. So we'll just go ahead from there and see what happens. So yes, so this whole concept of what is normal, and what are we doing to ourselves? Why are we allowing? When do we allow? When do we make stop? That is what I would like to see. What people can do about it. This is such a sensitive topic. It's such a hard topic to deal with. It is really, really a tough thing, because we don't see that we're doing anything wrong. We are living our lives the way we believe we're supposed to be living them, because this is what we were taught. And I'm saying, stop. Just stop. For 1 minute, just stop. And take a look around. And take a look and see. Look at yourself. Look at the world. And if it's acceptable, then just keep right on going, my friends. Just keep right on going. It's not that important. Just go right on ahead. But if you really feel that there's an issue, then it's up to you to change it. It's up to you to change you. Change your perception. Change the way you want to be. Step out of the norm. Don't be part of the herd. Make the changes in you that you would like to see happen in the world. I would love a world without fear. But fear is a great tactic to control people. I would love a world without hate. But hatred is a byproduct of fear. I would love to see a world without judgment. But that is just not going to happen, especially because of the fear and the hatred. I would love to see a world without discrimination. But that's the world that we live in. because of the fear, hate, and and the judgment. You know, we base everything on the physical. It's our appearance, our color of our skin, the color of our eyes, the color of our hair. We base things on invisible lines called borders, based on what side of the border you live on. Depends on what country you are on and part of, what your nationality is, what your citizenship is. There's no reason for it. I mean, we are on the physical side. The religions have separated us tremendously. Religion has done such a great job separating us and dividing us down and providing the fear and the hatred and the judgment and the discrimination. We have to step beyond that. We have to mandate the changes, because if left alone, it's going to continue down this path, and this path is not a good path. We really need to make sure that we don't fall victim to the propaganda that every country, every corporation, every advertising agency, every religion does to us. Stop falling for it. We have that control. It's we just don't realize and understand what is going on and the importance of it going on, what it does to us, and why it's being done this way. So we don't have to fall for this. It's not important for us to do this. What's important is we wake up. It's important to realize we have the control and the power. We don't want to be part of this. We don't have to be. Simply don't contribute to it. It's not the way it's supposed to be. So it's, I just want everybody to understand that that's this choice. We don't have to continue to have this So there, I just got my brother back, so that's great. I'll find out what's going on here, I think. Okay. Yeah, I'm not, I wasn't watching so much of the thread because I couldn't, radio's going, so that's cool. Okay, great. All right, thank you. And okay, so hit the back arrow, refresh, and we'll go at it that way. Okay, hit refresh. Okay, great, thank you. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so I am breaking up pretty bad, aren't I? So is it me or is it the system? Okay. Okay, great, good. Yeah, I'm not seeing this. Just all I was live. I don't see anything live. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I refreshed it again. All right. So anyway, this is okay. Okay, I can do that. Okay, I'll close that, and we'll go back in. Anyway, thank you out there in Radio Land. I appreciate you staying with us, and hopefully getting some. Let's see what happens here. I'm going to put Facebook, and let's see what happens now. Facebook. Now let's see. All right. Nope, not yet. Still not coming back. So there we. Okay, great. And I'm trying to catch up to y'all. So let's see what happens here. Yeah, I don't. There we go. Here it is. Let's see if this works. All right. Let's see what we got. Hi, Candace. I think we got you. John, I think it's there. All righty. So let's see how we're going to go. What we're at. Hopefully, I don't know how much you guys have heard, what you guys have caught on to here, but in trying to keep with the theme of everything. And hi, Donna. How are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate that. have been having some major technical very much. And great to see your icon pop up. Thank you so much. Okay, there we go. See how things are going. Yeah, I can't. I don't think I can change anything here. I think this is an internet thing. This is definitely something that's causing us some grief over airwaves. So there's got to be some inclement weather going between here and Michigan. So that's always jumpy, and I can actually hear the response echo back to my brother's broadcast listening that it's off. So slightly, yeah, it's really garbled and broken up. So sorry about the technical stuff again. Part of the play, it's part of the game we play here, broadcasting from, different parts of the world. And it's going to get interesting as I do get to travel around a little bit and broadcast from different locations. So it's going to be fun. We're going to see how things go. But again, we do have the choice. We can make the changes. The ice and snow in West Virginia. Wow, man. That's too cold for me. I'm not used to that, Donna. Really, I'm not. And stop hopping around. Yeah, that would probably help too, I guess, huh? Marcia, hi, welcome. It's it's great to see you come up. Hopefully, you can hear this. We'll see what happens. We have been having a lot of technical stuff. Anyway, so yes, we are in control. We do have the capability of making the decision to not conform, not accept the definition that society gives of normal. We can define it for ourselves, and I have actually done that. To me, being normal is what I see that needs to be done, not necessarily what society really like, and make sure that everybody else understands where we're going and get your views and your opinion. Let's see. Good. Okay. And so, yeah, we'll have to see how things are going. It's this was a tough one. This was a real tough fight here technically. But so yeah, I would love to hear from you guys. I'd love to know what you think and what would be concepts and plans based on the country that you're in and what you deal with the governments that you have to deal with and the religious institutions that you have to deal with, and what is capable, what is done, what is doable that doesn't put yourself in harm's way when it comes to questioning what the government is trying to do, or what institutions are trying to do, what departments within the governments are trying to do. You do have a choice, and you can voice that opinion, or even if it's simply by your actions. So see how things go. Again, the topic is dealing with normalcy. What living in is dealing with the foods and the qualities of the foods normal, is dealing with massive debt normal for us. And to me, it doesn't have to be normal. We don't have to accept things like that. We don't have to. We just simply don't buy if that's the case. We buy what we need, not what we want. And looks like it's interrupted again. So anyway, yeah, this is going to be a tough one there, bro. Yeah, I froze up here. So, but yeah, again, this is, even though this is tough to do, it's okay. We'll try to get through all of them. Yeah, I see John and Ken. Yep. Okay. All righty. So let's see. Yes, it did. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna see how. Okay, is it Facebook or is it the internet? Okay. All right. Yeah, because I seem to still have a pretty good signal here. So between here and you, yeah, I am. Okay. So okay. So anyway, yes, please. I am curious as to what's going on. I mean, a large number, the largest number of people, obviously, that are picking up the broadcast are in the United States, but we have representatives from all over the world, including Russia, including China, including Pakistan, including India, and I want to know what they think worldwide on all of this. This is just not a show for the United States or for Ecuador or Great Britain. It's for everybody, and that's really what it's all about to me. Is what are your views? I mean, we all have our biased views as to what we see and how we are living. But I don't know anything about some of these other countries, and I would love to know more about it. So please don't hesitate to send me a message, Henry@henrygmail.com, and I would be thrilled to understand what's going on in your countries and what you would like to see change. I only know from living in the U.S. and living in Ecuador. And I would love to know what is going on through your country, and I'm very open to a lot of that. And if there's stuff that I can do and get out there for you, please let me know, and I'll do what I can to get stuff broadcast so people understand. I mean, the people that we have on the live thread here are very interested in what's going on worldwide, and so if we can get the feedback and the ideas of what is happening, I would be thrilled to be able to pass a lot of that on to everybody. So again, let me know, Henry@henrygmail.com, and I will be happy to do what I can to make these or to even show and teach people how to change themselves, what's required to change in order to make the modifications in the world that we need to do. And again, I rely on the young, and I rely on you millennials, because you're the up-and-comers. You're the ones that are going to take the reins from all of this, and you're the ones I want to see happen. And regardless of where you are in the world, whatever country you happen to be in, you are the driving force behind all of this. And I would love to hear from you guys. So please don't hesitate. Write to me as much as you can, and let me know what's going on, because it is important, and I don't know what's going on in those countries. Love finally joined us. Thank you. Welcome home, sweetie. I'm glad that you're here. Technically, with major problems, so we'll see how things are going. We're still going over the radio. But Facebook has been a real tough challenge, and I have no idea about YouTube, but Facebook has been really tough, and the internet probably. So anyway, yeah, we are now, 43 minutes into this, and again, we've had some major stuff to deal with. Job in order to try to modify this. Who knows? Thank you so much. I appreciate it mostly. Thank you. Yeah, my brother just said, open your mouth and let the stuff come out, and just keep it going. So that's what I'm doing. I'm earning my motor mouth tonight. So, yeah. So as disjointed as this has been, again, it is so important that we understand that we don't have to accept fear, and we don't have to accept the prejudices and the racism, and we don't have to accept the discrimination. We don't have to accept the guilt. We don't have to accept any of this stuff. We don't need to do that. We can change that. It's our perception. It's our desires, our drive. We don't have to accept debt. We don't have to accept a life of debt. We don't have to accept, the world full of just nothing but pharmaceuticals. We don't have to do that. No, the quality of the air we breathe is important to us. Well, we don't have to accept it. We can make changes, especially if we start with ourselves and really understand and research and really see what's going on, and then make the decision to back off a bit, that we don't want this. This is not the area that we want to go in. That's not the push that we can do. And we can make those decisions. We can make those choices. We can do the things that we need to do to make things better, and especially on an individual basis. And if we simply can do that, walk the talk, then things will change. And I can't see how they'll change. Every time you think it can't get any worse, it seems to. And so I want to see things. That's the direction I want to go. Yeah, voice is getting a little. So yeah, it's up to us. It's up to us. We're the people in this world, and that's what we need to do. We need to take the control back, and the only way we can do that is to take control of ourselves, and not conform to what society says is normal. So We don't need to do that. That's not the direction that we need to go. And again, I'm speaking for Ecuador. I'm speaking for the U.S. Because I understand those two countries. The ones I don't understand, I would love to hear from you guys and really get a good feeling as to what you are up against in trying to change. You know, how whether it's how women are treated, how we perceive the religious ties in countries, whatever it requires. I am very interested in that, because to me that's what it's all about. And you can disagree with me completely, and I still want to hear from you, because that's the only way I learn, is by hearing differences of opinion. That when people are not happy with the way it's going, they don't agree with what I have to say, then let me know, and I get what you're thinking, what you have to go through. But I am very interested in all of that. So if you please, Henry at henrygpro.com, and I will be happy to reply back to you. So that's still fighting everything, it looks like. Things are stable, or some stable. It's hard to say. I know. It's it was, yeah. So yeah, things are. It's still very questionable as to things. Everything is still very jumpy. So it's got to be internet, and so that, well, we'll deal with it. That's what we do. So that's what's going on. Okay, got you covered. Thank you very much. A lot of storms in South America, so that's a large part of it. Then, so our signal, even though mine is good, doesn't mean anything. It means it has to travel and go through landlines and go through other areas that are being interrupted by storms. So we're doing the best we can. So anyway, back to the radio, back to whatever we can cover here. Again, we are dealing with what is normal. How do you define normal? And for me, again, what is not only normal, but why do we accept what is going on in this world as normal? And when are we going to stop it? When are we going to wake up? It doesn't have to be. There's a Jim Bircher, normal here, and I get that. I really do understand, because the way we were raised. We call everything going on in the world as normal. The war, the fighting, the killing, the poverty, the lack of food, the lack of distribution. It's not that we have a lack of food, we have a lack of distribution of the food. And that is what needs to stop. We need to support each other. We need to be able to work with each other and help each other in this world. If we're ever going to change anything, this is what we have to do. And for some reason, does not want to get done. So much does not want to happen. And there's so many standing in the way of it happening. For some reason, what we call normal. And it's up to us to change it. It's really up to us to really make the decisions and to say it's not acceptable anymore, and just change, because it's just wrong. This is just not the way it's supposed to be. We are better than that. We are much better than that. And I think that's really what we have to push out there, folks. We just have to do it. Again, it's up to everybody's choice to whether they want to change or whether they don't want to change, whether they want to accept what is going on or not. I don't tend to accept it, and so I want to change. I don't want to contribute this. I don't want to, as Brian was talking about yesterday about Twitter, he doesn't want to enable this whole concept of what Twitter is doing. I don't want to enable this whole concept of what is normal based on society. I want to go against the grain because I think it's wrong. I don't think this is the way we're supposed to be. The human being is not, under normal circumstances, is a very social animal. Well, I haven't seen it because we're too busy conforming to what the world is doing and what society is dictating. And that is where we are falling flat on our face. That needs to change. So we have to do our part. We have to walk the talk. If you don't believe in that the society is what is normal, then define normal for yourself and then walk that talk, because that's what it takes. And I just don't believe that we have to go through and do and live the way we've had to live because this has been a choice of ours. We've made the choice. It was presented to us, and that's what we have to do. We have to modify. So, with that said, let's see what we can actually change if we're willing to do that. And that's up to everybody. That's up to you guys. It's whether you all want to change. It's whether you see a reason to change. It's whether you really want to understand that change is required. So, with that, again, I would love to hear from y'all and messages if you can, because I think it's very important for us to learn what you have to face. You know, for us, it's simply deciding not to conform, just not to do that, not accept debt, or to not accept and encourage a continuation of debt. It's drawing a line in the sand and saying, I'm no longer going to do that. And yeah, there are some. I'm sure there are circumstances out there that you can't change, and there's probably areas in the world that if you try to do something, it could cost you your life. But I don't, again, I don't understand that portion of it. I would love to understand that a little bit more. So I need the answers and information from you guys. So with that, I'd like to. Well, my brother said we'll just keep on going for a little bit, but we are trying to get an understanding of where we are as individuals and what we are willing to put up with, what are we willing to accept, and where do we draw the line to where we don't accept anymore, and that we simply want to see things change, and what can we do to change it on an individual basis. And I think that that's really what we need to do. We need to work that way. We need to understand that, no, the world's not perfect. God, no, it's not, because we're not perfect. Absolutely not perfect. And since the world is a reflection of us, whatever we have part of us is what goes out there. And so we are flawed. There's a lot of mistakes. We do a lot of things wrong. But that doesn't mean we can't change that. We can change us. It takes a lot of work. It's a major effort. But we can do it. It is doable. Many of us are changing. But there is a line in the sand that you have to give up the hate. You have to give up the fear. You have to give up the greed. You have to give up all of the things that assist and enable society to continue. My brother's waving at me. I love it. That's cute. So, yeah, that's where we're at. And yeah, he can dance there because he's not on the camera, so it's really kind of fun. It's really cute. So yeah, so it's up to us. If you don't like the stresses that you're dealing with in your life, then do something about it. Don't just accept it. If you don't like having the debt over your head, then don't accept it. Don't add to it. If you don't like the hassle of dealing with budgeting because you got credit card debt and you got to pay it off as you go along, then stop using them. Don't do it. We have the power to make those decisions. It's just that we have done this for so long that it's almost impossible to be able to change. But you are able to. It's not totally impossible. It is hard. Change is tough, but we can do that. And we just need to make the commitment to ourselves that we're going to do that. We're not going to accept society dictating to us what is normal and what is acceptable. Society's definitions of normal is what got us into this. I mean, all natural being tells you that. Mortal up tells you that. It's about not accepting the norm, not accepting society, not being thin-skinned, not taking the political correctness, and that is what we have to deal with. I don't accept any of that. So I don't deal with that. For me, it's got to be changed, and that's what we're going to work. So, we're down to 4 more minutes. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start to wind down here. I've got probably wind it down in about 2 minutes or so, and then go from there. But we have to make the decision, folks. It's up to you. You have to decide what you're going to do. I've made my decision, and I don't follow the norm. I define the norm for myself. And that is the way I want to live my life, with me having the control. I want my ego set aside. I want to be able to control it rather than it pushing its wants on me. I'm putting my needs on it. And I simply function under those parameters. You can do the same thing and take control of your life back, because that is what is going to be required now, yesterday, and tomorrow. And the millennials, I'm telling you, it's up to you guys. You really need to take the control. Take the reins, because it's up to you to really do this. You want to live in debt, then you're going to follow your parents, and you're going to do the same thing they did. You want to really see a difference and change, then you're going to make the decision that society is wrong, and you're going to establish what the norms are. It's got nothing to do with political parties. It's got nothing to do with religion. It's got to do with common sense. And what is acceptable? What will you allow? How much suffering do you want to do? And if we went into this at your age and made the decisions that we're simply not going to put ourselves in a position that we have to suffer, we probably would have been a whole lot better off. And so it is up to you guys. So please, it's Henry at henrygnoel.com. I really would like to know what's going on in your neck of the woods, as they say, what country you're in, and find out what are the things that are keeping you from being able to show your all-natural being. What is it that keeps you from being able to mortal up? I would love to know it, and I'll get that information out to everybody as we go along. So please, don't hesitate to write me. I will reply. I will do that. So with that said, I think we're down to about a minute. I'm going to go ahead and start to wind this off, I think, before I start getting the eyes from my brother. And no eyes tonight. I got it. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Again, take what you want. I guess I will take the time to tell you that, okay, Brian will be on tomorrow for the full hour from 8 to 9 with All Natural Being and Mortal Up. I will be off the air. I have a meeting tomorrow evening. And so Brian will be taking the reins and handling all of this. And so we'll go from there. Marcia says, if we stop judging instead, just try to understand others, make it absolutely right, Marcia. That's what it is. We have to take the initiative. We have to stop pushing our own agenda and start listening to other people. And that's really what it does. Leave our ego in the closet. And so when it comes time to somebody that disagrees with you, just let them talk. Great way to learn. It really is. So anyway, so tomorrow evening it'll be Brian again. And I am going to say, take care. Have a great evening. And we'll see you on Thursday evening. I will be back. So anyway, have a great evening and enjoy. So hasta luego. Take care.